Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? The King of Lightning here today, bringing you guys and gals, as always, One Piece. One Piece! One Piece! Chapter 769 review. Now, this chapter is fairly simple, and I do want to talk about a few things that I saw in the comment section of the live reaction that I did. First of all, I'm seeing that there's a lot of folks, so let's just dive right in. A lot of folks don't believe that Law can actually reattach his arm back. And the reason why is his power scheme to begin with. When Law can reattach objects, it's normal because his room cuts them and they're not damaged. His room allows that. But in this case, not the case. Because Flamingo cut his arm off, and he did so when Law's room was not activated, obviously. Furthermore, he used a thread called the jigsaw thread. So this may mean that the cut wasn't clean. So you have, obviously, severed bones, severed tissue, severed tendons, severed muscles, severed nerves, so on and so forth. And they're not too sure if Law can actually reattach his arm back, given the condition, given the severity of the wound. Now, I think he can because, again, I always refer back to Punk Hazard, because Punk Hazard, Law worked on a cellular level, where he was able to remove the poison that these kids were infected with from each cell. That's how they survived. So I'm thinking, if Law can work on that small of a level to remove poison from cells, why can't he work on that same level to reattach tendons, to reattach bone, to reattach nerves? So even though his arm was cut outside of his room, not by his own powers, but by Flamingo string, which may have been not a clean cut because of the jigsaw trait, of the saw-like trait, then it's very possible that Law cannot reattach his arm back. So again, I think he can, but folks saying that he can't, and that's probably, and they have a sound reason as to why they believe that he can't do so. Now, what's also fascinating is that there's a theory that Law may actually get someone else's arm. I don't know if that would actually work out that way, because his arm would have to actually like fit. Because I don't know if that person's arm could just, like, I don't know if he could just grab someone's arm, like pull him out, or just grab someone's arm, just stick it to him, like, fuck it, yeah, we're back in action. So again, I don't think he could do that. So his best bet, in my personal opinion, is to surgically, after this is all said and done, whoa, my God, after this is all said and done, is to surgically reattach his arm via his powers. That's what I'm thinking. Now, the next thing I want to talk about. It looks like now Law is out of commission, because Law can't use his powers in full, given the fact that his arm is severed. And also, simultaneously, Bellamy's on his last legs. So the clone is destroyed, and Bellamy is now using his Spring Harbor technique against Luffy. They're going to have their one final dance. And then that's going to be it. So, and again, whether or not Bellamy actually dies is yet to be seen. But I believe strongly that if Bellamy were to die, it may trigger some maturity in Luffy's psyche. Where apparently other Straw Hats, they're on board, they realize, new world, a very serious place, gotta take it serious. We can dick around on occasion. We can on occasion pull our cocks out. But when shit hits the fan, put him back in, zip that shit up, and then get in gear. However, Luffy, I mean, I gotta take into account the fact that even though for us, as One Piece fans, it's been like, what, 3 years since the start of the time skip? In reality, this is the first genuine island that actually resides in the new world that we're seeing of the Straw Hat crew. Fishman Island wasn't in the New World. Punk Hazard was not registered in the New World at all as an island. So Dressrosa is the first genuine island of the New World that Luffy and company are actually experiencing. So, again, for me, it's kind of like I understand that Luffy at this point in time is still dicking around because it has been that long since he entered the New World. But you would think that given the hype of the New World, it was such a dangerous place where you had to change your mindset immediately in order to survive. Because again, this is the place that makes the Grand Line look like paradise. So I'm hoping that Luffy becomes more mature. He attains, because even though Gold D. Roger was a fool, he had some, as far as we know, he had some mature aspects about him. He really did. So I'm hoping that Luffy can be the same way. I'm really hoping that. And then we go over to Flamingo. So now that we know that these fights are wrapping up, Flamingo versus Law seems to be over. Bellamy versus Luffy is going to end real soon, obviously. So that means that the final battle, and Trebo is still there too, so he's a third fucking wheel, and I don't know. Maybe Law can take on Trebo, despite the fact that his arm is cut off. Very possible. However, now it's going to wind up being the main battle, which we can all guess correctly. Luffy versus Flamingo. That is the battle to end all battles in this arc, probably. So now begs the question, can Luffy beat Flamingo? And given the nature of the One Piece story, the answer should be yes. It should be yes, because think about it for a second. Unless you're excluding the trifecta, and the trifecta I call Impel Down, Shonen Archipelago, and Marineford War. Unless you're excluding those arcs, normally the way the One Piece story is centered around, like the theme, or the situation, or the plot, if you would, is pretty much there is an island. There is some type of evil, or there's some type of trouble on this island, and the Straw Hats have to get rid of it, or they need to deal with it in some way, shape, or form, and the island can return to quote-unquote normal. So in essence, them killing / beating up Flamingo would be the end result of the island turning back to normal. So the question here is, based on that theme, Luffy should be able to beat Flamingo, but given the reality of the difference in power, not the case. Flamingo right now is pulling out some very impressive shit, but it's undeniable. You have Flamingo fighting against Law, and he's doing some pretty impressive stuff in the midst of this fight. Law cut the castle. It's like he cut one of the sections in half. He flew it at Flamingo. Flamingo just blocked with the damn string, spider web string shield. Impressive shit. So he's fighting against the Law. At the same time, he can make a string clone to fight against Luffy for a period of time, and not just control Bellamy, but thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people across the country simultaneously, while having the freaking birdcage up. Flamingo is so far from a cut above the rest, it's not even funny. And unless Monkey D. Luffy can pull out some Gear 4 shit, I don't see him beating Flamingo. Flamingo is too good. He's too good. He's punking everybody. Luffy and Flamingo have had a few scuffles, and every time, Flamingo punked him. Granted, when Luffy and Law as a team took on Flamingo, they did get a Red Hawk in. But the solo scuffles, Flamingo pwned him. Like, not a big deal. Like, you're a young buck. You're a young buck trying to go against me. Your best bet, he says in the chapter, your best bet was to have Kaido fight against me. That was your best bet. But here you are, you let your emotions run rampant, and then you're now in this predicament where I'm going to fucking kill you guys. So, at this point in time, what intrigues me the most is seeing how Luffy and company are gonna somehow beat Flamingo. Or actually, mainly, seeing how Luffy himself is gonna beat Flamingo. Because, given the level of power, he shouldn't. He really shouldn't. So, again, that's why, to me, it made perfect sense where it was someone like Sabo coming in there and beat Flamingo. Because Sabo, he's a very powerful dude. But Luffy, it's like, no, he's not ready. Yes, he's gone through 2 years of hockey training. Well, correction. 1.5 years of hockey training. And 6 months of personal training. Okay, fine. So he's made some leaps and bounds. But these dudes across the New World, across the Grand Line, have been around for decades. Honing their skills for decades. Not just a few years, for fucking decades. So, you can't tell me that Luffy is at the skill level of these guys who are seasoned veterans of the game. Not just in controlling the Doflamingo powers, but also in hockey training, where Luffy is severely lacking compared to guys like Flamingo. Now, Crocodile was an odd experience because Crocodile punked Luffy twice. It wasn't even a damn fight. It was like a slaughter session. But at the end of the day, Luffy overcame Crocodile given his willpower. So the same thing could apply here where given Luffy's willpower, he could overcome Flamingo. But really, dog? Like, yeah, okay, fine. In the Grand Line, okay, we can let it slide. And he did have 2 very close encounters with death before he beat Crocodile. Okay, fine. But against someone like Flamingo, who I'd put above Crocodile in power easily. Like, to me, man, like, again, I need to see how it rolls. I need to see how this rolls out because I can't imagine Luffy beating Flamingo. But given the context of the story of One Piece, you know he's going to somehow beat Flamingo. So the question is how? That's the question. Gear 4. Fuck it. So, that being said, the chapter, and then the last part too, Bellamy. We did get some character development for Bellamy, which is kind of cool. I ain't about to do something as pathetic as flip loyalties on a man I ran for so long, just because I don't get the answer I wanted to hear. Bellamy, yeah, man, that's some hardcore shit. I do like that. Yes, Bellamy is a fool. And honestly, Bellamy, he shouldn't have any... There should be 0 sympathy for Bellamy. Why? Because Bellamy is a stone cold pirate. He pillages. He steals. He murders. So he's not exactly a priest. Well, then again, priests have their own set of issues too. But whatever. That's not important. It's not important. Fucking taking like young boys like, hey Timmy, come here to the back room. Let me talk to you about Jesus. Like, oh Timmy, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Timmy. Wise the fuck up. But listen, even though Bellamy is a hardcore dude and he's a pirate through and through, the fact of the matter here is that was some cool ass shit. His constitutions are not so weak to where they would falter because things don't go his way. I like that. I really do. So, Bellamy, even though you're not really that problem with the character in One Piece, I'll give him props. I'll give you some credit. I will give you some credit. Visa. Not MasterCard. So, that being said, I'm done. And I will see you guys later. This chapter overall, I do like it. And I think this is the actual genuine start. Unless Oda decides to fucking deviate and show us what... Because I can see Oda pulling some shit where we go back to like the dwarves and see where Mancherry is. Because Mancherry's still in the palace. So, they, like, I don't want to see that shit right now, man. I just really don't. I need to see the fights. I don't mind if they go over to Kiros versus Diamante. Okay, fine. I'm okay with that. I don't mind if they go over to... Well, actually, no, that's pretty much it. Because fucking Frankie and Senior Pink is... Like, that fight we can squash for now. Fuck it, just skip the entire thing. I would actually really like them to show some fucking sign, you Big Mom. Oda, can we please? So, let's just stay on board. Just, right now, we're getting to the point where this is wrapping up. Let's stay on board. And Bellamy, final moments in Monkey D. Luffy. And we'll call it from there. And then go on to the main bout. Luffy, Flamingo. Finally, for like the third time. And we're going to see if Luffy actually has the power. Because if he does, then we can put Luffy on Admiral level. Which I don't want to, because he really isn't. He really is not. What the fuck? Again, like, these are guys who have honed their powers for decades. Luffy isn't a prodigy. Luffy has a unique power, and his haki is strong, and he has that Goldie Rider shit going on, the power to heal all things, kind of. But he still has a long way to go. Honestly, like, Luffy shouldn't find the One Piece until he's like fucking 32. Honestly. I swear to, I'm not even joking. But either way, I'm done. King Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe. The chapter overall, I'm giving a rating of a good plus. Have a nice one. Well, I do like it a lot. Great. A great chapter One Piece. Yeah, I have a bias. I can't help it. I just can't help it.